Today we're going to learn about spittlebugs on nettles. Spittlebugs are very tiny creatures that make kind of a world of bubbles around themselves. So I'm actually going to show you the spittle itself. Now this is on, here's the spittle right here, look. This is actually on a wild blackberry plant, but they live inside right there, right in there. So what I'm going to do, oh look, did you just come up here? Look. I don't know if you could see that. Look. It just came out. Can you see that? There you are. Hi, Spittlebug. Here, let's try to find your home for you. I don't know if you're going to find this, but let's see if we can find your home here. There you go. You'll find it. You'll find this. There. Let's see if we can find it. Come on. Whoop. I know you can do this. Yeah. Well, oh, so there you go. There's a spittle. I know. Okay. We're going to put it in its home. There. Now, so that's how little it looks. It looks like that. There. And I'm actually going to just pick it up. Hello. There. Good. And then this is a nettle plant. And it has like serrated leaves like that. And I want to show you this one here, because it actually has little tiny stickers on here. I don't know if you can see those little tiny stickers that are on there, but it's called a stinging nettle. It's called a stinging nettle. So what we're needing today is we need crayons. Crayons. Mostly green, some grays, maybe a little black, and white definitely. Crayons. Good. You need a pencil, an ordinary pencil, an eraser. If you have a Sharpie, I'd like you to use the Sharpie. Okay? That would be great. Now, here's the other thing. If you have chalk, sidewalk chalk is fine. This is pastel chalks. Sidewalk chalk is fine. That would be great. If you don't have chalk, maybe you have some watercolor, and that would work too. Okay? So that's how we're going to start. You need your materials, okay? Oh, and the last material we need, the very last thing, we need paper, right? We need some paper. So before we get going, I actually want to show you some pictures here. This is a spittlebug, and you can see the little bubbles that it makes, and they make it by sucking sap out of the stem, and then their behind has a way to create the bubbles that are there. It's kind of wild, and it's something that they use to protect themselves so they don't dry out. Animals don't eat them. So here, that's it. What we just saw was there. And then when they get older, they look like that, and they're called a frog hopper because they hop so big, so tall. And before I do this, I'm gonna let you see this one more time, and then I'm gonna try to see if it would like to come back into its place. There we go. Hello. There. I don't know if you can see that, but there it is. There. Now I'm gonna put it back to bed here. There, you go back to bed. Go back into your little bubbles. And this is how we're going to start. The leaf itself, it's just give it, oh, you know what, you're going to use this. I'm going to use this to make it darker, right? So let's just make that shape. These are guiding lines, and that's the shape we're going to do for our leaf. Just the shape for our leaf. And I might want a stem over here with another leaf that would be coming off of this over here. But this is what's important, this leaf here. It has serrated edges. They're like little sharp little bites, like that edge, like teeth, like little teeth. There you go. Serrated edges. That's what they have. Okay, there. So just create the serrated edges here. They're all different sizes. There we go. All different sizes. Yeah, and it has a big vein that comes all the way here, and that's exactly where the spittlebug wants to be, is where the vein is. And then on this one here, this is a stem here. The stem is actually square. It's actually square. It's interesting. It has the little stinging hairs here, a little vein here, serrated edges. If you choose to do this one, you don't have to. You can just stick with this big one. And then the next thing we're going to remember, these are all guiding lines. These lines will mostly go away. Let's create our little, it's kind of an oval. Do you see how it's ovally like that? Oh, kind of flat oval. There, so you're going to do a flat oval. And then here's the face part. And they actually have little black eyes. They're so interesting. So there's little black eyes there. Little antenna, circle antenna, right there. And then this part here is the wings. It comes, here's the wing, and the wing comes here like that. And then like that. It's actually got little wings on it, although in the bubbles they're not going to use their wings. But they're a baby, and they're a nymph, and they're turning into a frog hopper bug. Okay. So, but speaking of bugs, it needs legs. So here's leg, 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 and then this leg, 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 leg. And then leg, 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 like that. There we go. Good, 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 good. Well, let's just leave this right now like that. I'll leave it like this because here comes some fun parts here. The plant, look here. I want you to see here. Do you see how these plants have veins in them? You can see that better on these younger ones. Veins in there. So we're going to create, that's how it's like a highway for food. And the veins have branches on branches on branches, just like trees, or roots. Branches on branches on branches. You don't have to press hard. I know, don't press hard. Okay? Branches on branches on branches. There we go. Yeah, they actually go to the end. Yeah, that's perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Now, the next thing we're going to do, right down here, we're going to create our bubbles. Bubbles are all different sizes. So here's our bubbles again. Here's a close-up of our bubbles. Here we go. Bubbles. Do you see how they're all different sizes? They are. So here we have big ones and little ones. Let's just fill up this whole space. Now we're not going to fill up the whole bug area. Let's pretend that our bug is kind of coming out of it, right? So we're just going to go like this. There, bubble, 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 bubble. There we go, bubbles, lots of bubbles, lots of bubbles, lots of big bubbles, little bubbles, bubble, bubble, bubble. There we go. Look. Now the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is take your pencil. And we're actually going to go over each bubble separately. Make a few circles around the bubble because this will actually be up shading. This and actually kind of gives it 3 dimensions. So we're just going around each bubble. It's okay if you go over the edges. That's perfectly okay. Yeah. So we just want the edges to be more defined. More defined. Bubble, bubble, bubble. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. And we're creating our own spittle just like our creature does. There, and they use an enormous amount of liquid from the plant, but the plant isn't really harmed that much by it, and it creates the spittlebug. And then the spittle itself is really bitter, so a lot of animals, they don't want to taste it. It's quite bitter. So here we are. Oh, here, let's create a few veins in here, and that part's done. This is pretty simple. And then the next thing I want to ask you, if you have a Sharpie. If you have a Sharpie, great, with a really fine point. If you don't have that, then just use your pencil and let's go over all of these helping lines and to create our beautiful, awesome creature. So we're going to start with our creature. So let's start where the body was oval and it had this wings here. And then eyeballs. Hi, eyeballs. There we go. It actually has a very light line that goes all the way down like that. And then this here. And then when we get to the legs, I'd like you to do 2 sides to the legs, right? Just go down one side and up the other side. That's all. 2 sides to the legs. You know what? Because that way we can fill it with color. When they're light green, the whole bug looks like the plant. You know, it's very light green. But it turns much darker when it becomes a mature and older bug and ready to be out in the world. And so let's come over here and do our serrated. Oh, no, this one is not a very good pencil. Here, let's try another one here. Let's see if this is any better. Oh, hope so. They're serrated. Not a whole lot better. Let's just see if that works. Yeah, there we go. Oh, Linda's having trouble with her pens. I'll try another one here. Okay, serrated. There we go. There. Serrated leaves. I'm putting in extras here. There we go. Serrated. 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 There we go. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Okay, there. And then the next thing we're going to do is we really are going to go over the bubbles. Going to go over the bubbles. Even though you have a bunch of stuff already happening on those bubbles, we just want to outline this and make them even more defined by putting the Sharpie on these, okay? Because we're going to be filling in our background really soon with all kinds of awesome colors. There, you find spittlebugs in the spring when all the plants are just sprouting and they're full of like lots of nice sap, and the spittlebugs will come and they'll lay their eggs in there. Well, it's not the spittlebug, they're frog hoppers. These ones here, they'll come and lay their eggs. And in the spittle, and then the babies hatch in there, but they stay there a pretty long time. They stay there a pretty long time. So I'm going to come up here, and let's get this nettle. If you're doing this one, the most important one is the big one down there, but just in case you wanted to add another element here. And then we're going to get those veins, right? Veins. And then this, I included this because I want to show you that it is stickers on here, not like brambles or blackberry stickers. They're almost invisible, but they are like stingers rather than stickers, and it is called Stinging Nettles. And Stinging Nettles are so good for you. After you cook them a tiny bit, put them in hot water, then the stinging part goes away, and it's considered an incredibly nutritious plant. Incredibly nutritious. Now, erase. That's your job. I want you to mostly erase your bug, okay? You want to erase your spittlebug so that's really nice and clean. Don't worry so much about your bubbles. We kind of want to leave some of that pencil look. And then I'm cleaning up this whole section here because we're going to apply color. And we want it pretty clean so that we can see just want to be able to see our Sharpie lines. That's pretty much it. So you're going to do that, and then you're going to come over here. There you go. And just clean up maybe a tiny bit over here. That's all. That's it. That's it. And you got that. So that's pretty. Oh, I did not outline our little antenna. Hello, antenna. Whoa. There we go. Good. Okay. Now's the time to go get those crayons. So I hope you got your crayons. And I already picked out a whole bunch of greens and yellows. You're gonna need a white, a gray, and a black. And look, I wanted to show you this in case you were worried about the little creature there. I think it went back in. Oh, there it is. Can you see that right on the edge there? Can you see that? It's right by its home. It can go in when it wants. They come out sometimes. There. So just so you see, it's right by its little home. There. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our crayons here, and we're going to do our bugs. Now, the crayons are great. All you have to do is not press super hard. And what you're going to do is do layers. Now, this bug is kind of light green, so I'm going to concentrate on light green colors, but I'm also going to add quite a few other colors you're going to see. The legs are light green too. Okay, there. Good. So I'm going to add colors. Look at this. I'm adding colors. The head is slightly lighter than the rest of it, but see, it's layers. Now, you can also use colored pencils for this too, honestly. You don't have to use crayons. You could use colored pencils, but I'm just showing that you can really get great results with this, right? Look at this color. Crayons are awesome. So this pine green, there we go. Just sort of where it has these little dark areas here. A little bit of that. Yeah. Here we go. More. Just keep adding. Just keep adding colors. There, hello. Oh, you're so good. What a good little creature you are. Look at you. There, good. Now, you can add a little bit more. I am going to move on, though. I want to show you the eyeballs are really quite dark. They're black. They actually are black. There we go. So you can add more color, but the next thing I want you to be able to do is, if you have a white, I actually want you to put white in the middle of your bubbles. Yep. Put white in the middle. It'll be kind of a highlight because bubbles are three-dimensional. They're not flat. And this is one way to show that it is three-dimensional, is to have a bright spot on it because it's round and it has a spot that's, has reflects more light, right? And so we're going to put that on. And then if you have a nice gray, that would be great. If you don't have a gray, here's my gray here. You could use a bit of black instead, but gray is good. And you're going to go back over your bubbles again. Go ahead. Go back over these bubbles. Yeah, we're going to, on the outside, don't fill in the inside. Leave a bright spot for the inside, or the middle. The middle should have a bit of light spot in there. Bit of light spot, and there we go. And we're just trying to get that spittle. Isn't that amazing that they make their own houses from their own bodies? Pretty amazing. And I guess other creatures do too, like caterpillars, and make their own houses. There, cocoons. That part is done. Now I want to show you the next step. If you have chalk, I'd like you to get some chalk. This would be the very next step. If you don't, use the watercolor. And if you don't even worry, because you could maybe even use the crayons lightly. But I'm totally going to hope you'll use this, right? So I'm going to pick out greens in here. Greens, greens, greens. Look at here. Different color greens. Because we're going to put greens on our nettles, right? And they're kind of a dark green. So the next step is to get a little piece of paper towel or tissue, just a little piece like that, and you're going to roll it into itself like that and create like a finger. See that? Okay, there we go. And so what we're going to do is put this aside. I might start with a little bit of yellow under the undercolor. The yellow over here, yellow, yellow, yellow. There we go. Maybe a little over here. Good. And then a little bit more. You're just applying colors. There you go. Another color over here. There. Yep. And then ultimately we'll get to our dark colors. Maybe a bit on the stem here. Yep. You don't have to fill up every space because we've got plenty of colors to do this with. Maybe a darker color over here. Here we go. Look, we're getting there. There, and the reason I use the snubby like this is so that we don't get lines. You can actually control the chalk a whole lot better by doing this, really. And you can get it smooth because you want to pay more attention to the fact that it's a leaf than paying attention to the fact that there's lines in there. And then actually, I might even want a tiny bit of blue. It's going to darken everything a little bit. And it's already laid out on a bed of yellowish green. So it'll actually turn into a darker blue. Do you see that? Or a darker green, rather than just blue. Okay, there. And just don't worry about getting into your creature because the creature has got a crayon in it, which has wax in it. And the chalk and the wax, they don't stay on top of each other. I don't like that. So that's good. Look at this. We did that. We did that. Yeah. Oh, good. Now, here's the fun part. You might like this one here. Look, look, look. I want you to pick colors out of your array, either watercolors or hopefully it's chalk, for your sky or your background. You're the artist. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to experiment with orange and yellow. And maybe even a darker orange in here. And so I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to get a nice clean snubby here. See, right. And I might put a little bit of yellow back in here. Yellow, just a little bit. And then I might move to my orange. Right? And I'm kind of thinking like, oh, this could be sunset, right? Could be. I imagine if you were a spittlebug, that sunset you wouldn't notice it that much. And look, I have this darker color here. I want to tell you something about nettles. Nettles are amazing. I make nettle soup It's actually potato soup, and then I put the the nettles that have been hot water has been poured over them, or they've been cooked tiny bit so they don't sting anymore, and I put that over them, and I put the nettles in the soup, and it's delicious. Or you can just eat it like greens. I mean, once you cook it a tiny bit, it's incredibly nutritious. Look at that color. Look at that color. Look at that. Isn't that great? There, I don't know, maybe a little pink. I don't know. We could just have fun with our sky here, right? There. So I just want you to know the value of nettles. It's considered a food that people can eat when they don't have anything else, but it's actually a food that they should be eating all the time because it's so incredibly good for you. Look. Look at that. There is our spittlebug and nettles. Look at that. You did a great job. Oh my goodness.